50 Cent has spent over 2 decades stirring controversy in the rap world, and now his move into documentaries has become a weapon no diss track could ever be. Rumors are swirling that the latest episode contains clips that could seriously incriminate some of hip-hop's biggest names. The list of people who reportedly have reason to worry includes Ty, Jay-Z, Jim Jones, Rick Ross, J. Rule, Young Buck, Mayo, Dame Dash, and more. Some of them are reportedly leaving the country in a rush, trying to avoid the fallout. In this video, we'll break down the clips, the reactions, and the full timeline of how Curtis Jackson went from rap superstar to the man the entire hip-hop industry is watching over its shoulder. There is a reason the title of this video exists. There is a reason people in the rap world are paying close attention to every Instagram post Curtis Jackson puts up. There is a reason why in 2026, the mention of a 50 Cent documentary sends a specific kind of chill through the industry. And that reason starts with what happened at the end of 2025. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson kicked off the new year with his latest project, collaborating with A&E for a true crime series titled Gang Wars. That was January 2026. The rapper-producer confirmed the news on Tuesday evening, simply writing in an Instagram post, "Gang Wars coming soon. A&E, I got some heat." He also shared a screenshot of an article confirming the project. Deadline describes the series as an unfiltered look into America's most infamous gang rivalries with unprecedented access and never-before-heard accounts. Now, you have to understand why this announcement carried weight. This was not the first documentary 50 Cent had produced. The announcement arrives on the heels of Sean Sazomba's The Reckoning, a 4-part documentary released in December about the imprisoned music mogul that was executive produced by Jackson. That Netflix project did numbers. In the 6 days after its release, the series was viewed 21 times, 8 million times, making it the second most viewed Netflix title during the week of December 1st, 2025, after Volume 1 of the 5th season of Stranger Things. That is not a small number. That is not a niche documentary that a few hip-hop heads watched. That is a cultural event. And the man behind it, 50 Cent, was not a passive executive producer who signed some paperwork and collected a check. Jackson, who executive produced the project, told NBC News in a recent interview that he had worked on the documentary for over a year with director Alexandria Stapleton. He was involved. He was hands-on, and he made that clear on the record. "I've been committed to real storytelling for years through Gannett Film and Television." Jackson said, "I'm grateful to everyone who came forward and trusted us with their stories. I'm proud to have Alexandria Stapleton as the director on the project to bring this important story to the screen." Now, here is where the picture starts to take shape. 50 Cent did not stop at one documentary. He did not stop at Gang Wars. Millions of streamers will recall that 50 Cent executive produced the now infamous Netflix docuseries Sean Combs, The Reckoning that sent shockwaves through pop culture at the end of 2025. And immediately after that success, he started aiming the documentary weapon at other people, and the first name that came up was Ty. 50C hinted at a possible surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary in a now-deleted post. This was not a casual remark. This was not a throwaway joke. The culture witnessed a masterclass in this exact type of warfare on March 5th, 2026, when 50 Cent briefly shared an Instagram post that sent immediate shockwaves across the internet. For a fleeting moment before it was deleted, the post revealed a sneak peek of a purported documentary titled Surviving T and Tiny. In the caption, 50 Cent warned the Atlanta rap legend that he was about to be questioned regarding 20 sexual assault cases, chillingly advising him to get a crisis PR person on the line immediately. Let those words sit for a moment. This is a man who just produced a documentary that was viewed over 21 million times in less than a week. This is a man who has a working relationship with Netflix, A and E and stars. And this man just told T.I. on a public platform that he might be next. The caption read, "Remember how quiet I got before the diddy-do? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." That is a direct message from a man with the resources, the connections, and the track record to follow through. Now is the documentary confirmed? As of March 2026, there is no verified production schedule, network deal, or actual footage to confirm that the surviving T.I. and Tiny even exist. But that is almost the point. If 50 Cent understands that in the modern era of instant viral media, the sheer threat of an exposing documentary often hits significantly harder than the actual project itself. Think about that for a second. 50 Cent does not need to release the documentary. The threat of it is the weapon. By weaponizing a deleted Instagram post, 50 Cent managed to force T.I. onto the defensive, drag his past traumas back into the mainstream headlines, and control the entire hip-hop narrative without having to spend a single dollar on production. And this is what makes 50 Cent different from every other rapper who has ever had a beef. He is not on the corner. He is not in the studio. He is in the boardroom. He is in production meetings. He is executive producing true crime content and holding it over the heads of people he has problems with. That is a level of warfare that did not exist 10 years ago. Let's go back even further. Before the documentaries, before the Netflix deal, before gang wars, 50 Cent was already one of the most feared figures in hip-hop. Very few rappers have taken the game by storm like 50 Cent. He came out the gate aggressive with the release of How to Rob, a hilarious track that dissed every popular rapper at the time, from Jay-Z to Big Pun to the entire Wu-Tang Clan. That was 1999. He was unknown. He had nothing to lose and he swung at everybody. Rappers didn't take the song which was paying homage to the notorious B.I. He's just playing Dreams as a joke. At 50, he didn't really care. He got shot 9 times, dropped from his label, and basically left for dead. Then a few years later he resurfaced, helped invent the modern-day mixtape, and aligned himself with Dr. Dre and Eminem, releasing Get Rich or Die Tryin' in the process. And then what happened? The best part about 50 is that he never lost that edge. Even after becoming the biggest rapper in the world, he kept beefing. That edge is the entire foundation of what we are discussing here. Because the beefs he started or found himself in the early 2000s are still alive in 2026. They have just evolved from diss tracks and radio call-ins to documentary threats and social media warfare. Now, more than 20 years later and millions up, 50 still hasn't lost that frenetic energy. He doesn't rap much anymore, so it's not coming through in music. Instead, he talks his shit online, going at rappers and celebrity figures on Instagram. And the person at the top of the list right now is T. But before we go deep into that situation, we need to understand the full scope of who 50 Cent has problems with, because the list is not short. The list is not of 5 people. The list is closer to 30, and some of those people have very real reasons to be paying attention to what 50 Cent does next. Rapper 50 Cent is one of hip-hop's most successful acts. Since his critically acclaimed debut studio album, Get Rich or Die Trying, was released in February 2003, fans have witnessed his evolution from musician to all-around media mogul. However, that evolution has not come without its share of beef with fellow artists. So, let's start running through the names, and trust me, there are a lot of them. The beef between 50 Cent and T.I. is not new. It did not start in 2026, but it reached a level in 2026 that nobody expected. The beef first began way back in 2006, when both rappers were debatably at their peak. While it never kicked off, there were definite signs of them not liking each other. 50 was the star of Gun, and T was the self-proclaimed king of the South. The tension began to appear in a competitive way, and sneak attacks. Then things got specific. The documentary threat is the latest escalation in a conflict that dates to 2007, when 50 called TIA snitch after his machine gun arrest and plea deal. That was a serious accusation. In hip-hop, that label carries weight, and 50 Cent put it on T.I. publicly. In 2007, while Ty was performing with Jay-Z and Kanye West at Screamfest 2007, 50 would pull a Lil Mama, jumping on stage and crashing the set. That was a statement. That was 50 Cent walking onto another man's stage and making his presence felt. And in late 2007, T.I. would be arrested on federal gun charges. By March, he would make a deal with the feds, serving only a year in prison, and 50 Cent used that against him. He dissed T.I. on a G-Unit track for the situation. For years after that, the two stayed in an uneasy space. Not friends, not enemies at full volume. Just two men who did not like each other existing in the same industry. But in 2026, that all changed. The beef reignited in February 2026 when T.I. accused 50 of ducking a Verzu battle during his Kill the King album promo run. Ty went on multiple platforms and said the same thing. They had agreed to a Versus, and 50 Cent backed out and pretended like it never happened. Ty initially suggested $1 million worth of games, and the two had agreed on a Verzu battle with the idea being that Tip would reveal the news. He claimed on the pod hosted by Jilly the Kid and Wallow that 50 went back on the plan dumb when the What You Know rapper shared the news. From there, diss tracks were dropped, insults were lobbed, and past interactions have been brought up and recontextualized thanks to the spat. T.I. did not hold back. The long simmering rivalry between New York rap icon 50 Cent and Atlanta's self-proclaimed King of the South, T.I. has erupted into rap's biggest beef of 2026. What started as a failed Verzu battle proposal has spiraled into a full-scale war of diss tracks, family involvement, and social media chaos. T.I. has now released 4 diss tracks: War, The Right One, Lessons, and What Bully. While his sons King Harris and Demony Harris have also jumped in, this is where it gets intense. 50 Cent, instead of responding with music, went after T.Y.'s family. 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tiny with a caption telling T.I. to leave him alone. The Harris family interpreted this as a direct sign of extreme disrespect. T.I.'s sons immediately jumped into the fray to defend their mother. King Harris blasted old, highly inappropriate images of 50 Cent across social media, while Demany Harris released diss tracks aimed at the New York mogul. And then King Harris crossed a line that even T.I. himself was not comfortable with. King Harris, T.I. and Tiny's son, responded by wearing a t-shirt bearing the image of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away in an apartment fire when 50 was just 8 years old. That is a line. In any culture, in any context, bringing a dead parent into a brief changes the dynamic. Our Ty ultimately had to draw a firm boundary when King printed a shirt disrespecting 50 Cent's late mother, stating publicly that he does not believe in attacking people in ways he would not want his own family attacked. Ty went on the radio to address the situation directly. Ty said around the 7-minute mark of the hour-long interview, "No, I don't enjoy it, particularly when King decided to go scorched earth at the Gunnet mogul. I spent so much time trying to get this Lil Wayne off the ledge." However, he did admit he was proud of how both his sons defended their mother, T.I.A. Tiny Harris, who became the butt of several since-deleted memes posted by 50. "The one thing that I am proud of is that the women and children in our families see that it's a line of men that's here against whoever the FK." He added, "We are not here to defeat. I'm here to defend." Meanwhile, Ty's music was doing numbers. Let Him Know is one of the early hits of 2026. The song, part of T.I.'s retirement album Kill the King, is currently #1 at Urban Radio and on several charts from Instagram to Billboard. So while T.I. was charting, 50 Cent was escalating, and the escalation took the form of that documentary threat. 50 Cent is trying to strike some fear into T.I., who's been pretty confident throughout their reignited beef. 50 Cent is reportedly working on getting back at T.I., almost the exact same way he did with Diddy. According to numerous sources such as Star 945, they report that industry insiders are hearing rumblings about the Gannett mogul dropping another documentary similar to Sean Combs' The Reckoning. There's even a title being floated out there as well, which is Surviving T and Tiny. The tentatively named project would resurface old sexual assault allegations from several women against the couple. Ty responded to that threat directly. While the Atlanta artist hasn't yet responded to his Queen's enemies' on-wax disses, he did dismiss these documentary threats. "We can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. Either way, all you're going to do is show how much of a thing you is," he captioned an Instagram post. Speaking to TMZ, he said, "Man, that's a so last week, man. The only thing I have to say is it's very unfortunate, but honestly, I wasn't here to defeat. I was here to defend." And on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show, T went further. "I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated, and I'm also real big on treating mothers the way they decided they're going to treat me." He added that 50 Cent silence since the threats proved his point. Ultimately, all of the quietness that we're witnessing right now from Dude 50 Cent. What would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning? Absolutely nothing. T.I. even dropped a fifth diss track throughout Trauma Bond. Ty shouts out his family above all else as his sons like Damani and King Harris have also targeted 50 Cent via various diss tracks. Overall, it's a scathing condemnation of Fifth's social media antics, internet trolling and combative attacks, framing them as attention-seeking and as eroding 50's sense of self-respect. Now, what makes this situation particularly volatile is the background allegations that 50 Cent is referencing. In January 2021, an Atlanta entrepreneur named Sabrina Peterson publicly accused T.I. of holding a gun to her head. This single accusation acted as a catalyst, opening a horrifying floodgate. Dozens of women began coming forward with eerily consistent stories. Despite the overwhelming volume and terrifying consistency of these accusations, the legal outcomes heavily favored the Harris family. Criminal investigations were opened in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, but no criminal charges were ever formally filed, largely because the statute of limitations had already expired. The only major legal battle still actively lingering is a high-stakes defamation trial between T.Y. and Sabrina Peterson, which is currently scheduled for June 2026. And that is the gap 50 Cent is operating in. The courts may have technically closed the door on criminal prosecution, but the cultural conversation regarding these allegations remains incredibly fractured and unresolved. Ty and Tiny have maintained their innocence throughout. Ty and Tiny have consistently denied all allegations, calling them salacious, fabricated stories. But 50 Cent is not a court of law. He is a court of public opinion. And in that court, the threat of a documentary is the equivalent of a subpoena. Meanwhile, King Harris kept going. King Harris has not let up on 50 Cent one bit after disrespecting his mother, Tiny. And today, he's proven again that he's not slowing down. King Harris got one look at 50 Cent's new song and immediately decided to show him the ropes. That's the energy he's coming with after dropping his third disc song called Drop Top just hours ago. The 21-year-old son of T.I. shared the audio for it on his Instagram. 50 Cent, for his part, finally responded with music. 50 Cent has finally responded in song form to his current rap rival T.I., specifically through the new Leon Thomas collab, No One Told Us What We're Here For. It's the theme song for the Power Origins prequel series on Starz. So by mid-March 2026, we have T.I. with 5 diss tracks, King Harris with 3 diss tracks, Damani Harris with at least 1 diss track, and 50 Cent with 1 song in a documentary threat that has the entire industry talking. DJ academics had drawn direct comparisons to the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, cementing this as one of the defining rivalries of 2026. And the thing is, T.I. is just one name on the list. Let's move to the next part 3. Jay-Z, J. Rule, Rick Ross, the beefs that never die. If you think the T.I. situation is something, you need to understand the full scope of who Curtis Jackson has had issues with over the past 2+ decades. Because it is not just T.I. It is not just one person. It is a roster that spans the entire geography of American hip-hop. Let's start with Jay-Z. Tension between the two New York giants has simmered for over 20 years. This goes all the way back to How to Rob. 50 Cent's conflict with Jay-Z began in 1999 when 50 released How to Rob, taking shots at several rappers, including Jay. Jay-Z responded. 50 released a song titled How to Rob, in which he called out some of his fellow rappers, including Jay-Z. That same year, then Jay-Z debuted the song It's Hot, Some Like It Hot, in which he responded to 50 Cent's prior disc. Aside from a bar on It's Hot, Jay has kept mum, kept it moving, and kept making money, but 50 Cent did not let it go. He never lets things go. Years later, he reflected on that exchange with an interesting perspective. When he responded, "I was complimented." He told Rolling Stone in 2003, "I wouldn't say anything back to somebody I didn't think was hot. I never went to radio until after he said that about me. I don't know if my career would be where it's at if he didn't respond." So 50 Cent acknowledged that Jay-Z's response helped his career. That's an admission, but it didn't stop the rivalry from continuing. 50 Cent and Jay-Z have had a professional relationship with intense rivalry and occasional collaborations over the years. Despite sharing the stage on tour in 2003, 50 Cent made it clear in 2011 that he and Jay-Z would never be friends, only associates in the same business. "We don't have those kinds of relationships," he told MTV News in 2011. "These people are people I associate with. We are in the same business. We are not necessarily friends. We don't call each other for no reason." Now, here is where the Jay-Z situation intersects with the documentary era. 50 Cent made a very specific accusation about the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show. "Rock Nation didn't want me there." Jackson said, "Yeah, they didn't want me there. Eminem wouldn't do it without me. That's how I ended up on the show because he was not coming if I didn't do it." When that happens, you go, "Damn, so you just lost Eminem because you didn't bring 50? But if it was up to them, they would not have me there. I'm the surprise. I'm not on the bill at all, but they couldn't get M to do it without me." That is a direct accusation aimed at Jay-Z's Rock Nation. 50 Cent is saying that Jay-Z's company tried to keep him off one of the biggest stages in entertainment, and only Eminem's loyalty brought him back. Whether that is true or not, 50 Cent said it on the record, and Jay-Z has not publicly responded. Have has also been ridiculed by Jackson on his social media platforms. Earlier this year, he posted an odd photo of Jay-Z's face and claimed the decorated rapper and businessman is laying low until legal issues blow over. He made the post after Rock Nation cancelled their annual brunch event during Grammy weekend. 50 Cent also told a story about meeting Jay-Z and Beyoncé in person. In an interview in 2022, 50 Cent reported that in a meeting between him and the couple in Los Angeles, the two rappers were having a heated argument. Beyoncé, seeing them, jumped from a ledge to come to her husband's defense. 50 Cent compared the singer to her sister Solange when she hit Jay-Z in the elevator, describing them as two gangsters. And during a Hollywood Reporter interview in 2024, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson opened up about what sparked his disdain for both Jay-Z and others. The rapper-filmmaker sat down for a lengthy interview for the Hollywood Reporter's new cover story. During the conversation, Jackson described the events that fueled his ongoing beef. Now, the connection to the documentary era is this: every time 50C produces a documentary, every time he announces a new project, the people who have had problems with him over the years have to wonder if they are next. Jay-Z is one of those people. The rivalry has never been resolved. The tension has never been squashed. And 50 Cent has shown that he is willing to use the documentary format as a tool. Now let's talk about Ja Rule. This is the longest-running beef in 50 Cent's career. 50 Cent's most notable industry feud has been with New York lyricist Ja Rule. The pair have been at odds almost since the beginning of the 50s rap career. And unfortunately, for the past 20 years, nothing has changed. Both sides have different reasons for why this feud started. Jay says it was because he didn't include 50 Cent in the music video for the 1999 song Murder for Life. However, 50 Cent wrote in his 2005 book, From Pieces to Weight, that the beef started because a friend of his stole Ja's necklace in 1999 and the violence was real. In 2000, a brawl took place at a New York studio between Gun and Murder Inc.'s crews that resulted in 50 Cent being stabbed. Gotti is also associated with a drug dealer who was accused of shooting 59 times while he was at his grandmother's house. This beef effectively ended Ja Rule's career at its peak. 50 Cent dismantled Murder Inc. through music, through public perception, and through sheer aggression. And in 2026, Ja Rule has accepted the reality. More than 20 years after their feud defined a chapter of hip-hop history, Ja Rule told TMZ he has accepted that reconciliation with 50 Cent is unlikely. Sometimes in life, people have enemies, and that's okay. There's room for us to not be friends and also not be at war. That is a statement of resignation. Ja Rule is not fighting anymore. He is just accepting that 50 Cent will be his enemy for life. And then there is Irv Gotti, who was connected to the Ja Rule situation through Murder Inc., even after Irv GTI shockingly passed. 50 Cent still had to get the last laugh. In an Instagram post he wrote, "I'm smoking on Dad Gottip." That tells you everything about how 50 Cent operates. There is no line he will not cross. There is no moment he considers too sacred for a shot. Now let's talk about Rick Ross. 50 Cent's feud with Rick Ross began in 2008 when the MMG rapper essentially called 50 irrelevant during a radio interview. The two have since taken small shots at each other, with the Goonit boss clowning Ross for going on the Millennium Tour with Bow Wow and Omaran. But 50 Cent went further than music. Things between Rick Ross and 50 Cent went south in 2008 when 50 allegedly was unkind to Ross during a BET event. 50, being the petty king he is, took Ross's son's mother, Tia Kemp, on a shopping spree in 2009. He also helped her publish a tell-all that same year titled Tia's Diary, deeper than rap, clarity, truth, and exposure, which called out Ross. That is next-level warfare, taking your enemy's baby mother shopping and then helping her write a book about him. That is not a rap beef. That is a psychological operation. In the years that followed, not much has changed. During his 2018 health scare, 50 mocked him on social media. Their beef remains active, with 50 mocking Ross and Meek Mill's joint November 2023 project, Too Good to Be True, which sold 31,000 in its first week. So Rick Ross is on the list. A man whose baby mother was literally funded by 50 Cent to write an exposé. Now imagine what a 50 Cent documentary about Rick Ross could look like. That is the fear factor. Let's talk about the sales war with Kanye West. If Kanye West sells more records than 50 Cent on September 11th, I'll no longer write music. 50 told the hip-hop site So.com, "I'll write music and work with my other artists, but I won't put out any more solo albums." West went on to sell 957,000 copies in the first week compared to his 691,000. However, 50 didn't retire from the industry as promised. And while the 50 Cent versus Kanye situation was never a real hatred beef, but was more of a competition, it still showed 50 Cent's willingness to put everything on the line. He literally bet his solo career on outselling another artist. That level of confidence or recklessness, depending on your perspective, is the same energy that drives the documentary threats. Now, let's add one more name to this section, Lil Wayne. However, after Wayne's health scare in 2012, 50 wished him well and, in 2023, expressed interest in collaborating with the rapper. The beef with Wayne cooled down, but it existed. 50 Cent has taken shots at nearly every major rapper who was active during his era. And then there is Nas. 50 Cent's relationship with Nas started as a supportive one, with Nas even inviting 50 to him in 1999. But in 2002, their friendship soured over a feature on Jennifer Lopez's song, I'm Going to Be Alright, where 50's verse was replaced by Nas. The 50's diss track Piggy Bank targeted Nas, and the two exchanged insults for years. However, by 2014, they made amends. And in 2023, 50 even supported Nas's latest work. So even when beefs get squashed, 50 Cent shows his willingness to go at legends. Nas and Jay-Z, these are not small names. These are the biggest names in the history of hip-hop. And 50 Cent looked at all of them and said, I will come for you. And in the documentary era, that approach takes on an entirely new dimension. Because now it is not just bars. It is production budgets. It is a Netflix deal. It is A&E partnerships. It is camera crews and testimonies and archive footage. That is a different kind of weapon entirely. Part 4. Jim Jones, Dame Dash, Young Buck, Mayo, the current battlefield. If the Jay-Z and J. Rule beefs are the long-running sagas, the Jim Jones, Dame Dash, Young Buck, and Mayo situations represent the current active battlefield that 50 Cent is operating on right now in real time in March 2026. Let's start with Jim Jones. There are still a lot of New York hip-hop rivalries that have lasted far beyond their 2000s origins, and 50 Cent and Jim Jones are near the top of that list. The earliest fault lines appeared during the mid-2000s when Gunit and Dipset were two of New York's most visible forces. In 2007, 50 Cent openly feuded with Cam'ron, criticizing Dipset's affiliation with Co Records and questioning their commercial relevance. Amid that tension, Jim Jones and Jules Santana appeared on stage with 50 at a concert. At the time, the moment was widely viewed as a betrayal within Dipset. Years later, 50 openly admitted the move was calculated. In a 2024 interview, he revealed that he intentionally pulled Jones into the performance to destabilize Cam'ron's position. Jones has since minimized the incident, but it crystallized a recurring theme. In the 50s world, alliances are temporary tools. That is 50 Cent's entire strategy. He uses people to get at other people, and he does it openly without shame and then brags about it years later. That is the mentality of a man who now has documentary production capabilities at his disposal. The situation with Jim Jones got worse in December 2025. The most recent escalation unfolded in December 2025, centered on 50 Cent's Netflix documentary, which, interestingly enough, contains footage of Jones with the disgraced mogul just days before his arrest. Jim Jones dismissed it as a mockumentary on his podcast with Mino, Dave East, and Fabulous. Of course, and this led 50 Cent to go beast mode on Jim Jones. Even while Mino tried to chime in, 50 got the last laugh. He leaked alleged audio from Jones's landlord claiming unpaid rent for the podcast studio, accusing Jones and his co-hosts of financial troubles and even offering to buy the podcast himself. Jones apparently didn't respond to Fifth, but the unpaid rent was eventually paid after his stunt. 50 Cent literally contacted Jim Jones's landlord. He found the person who owns the building where Jim Jones records his podcast and started doing business with them. In a February 2026 Instagram post, he shared a surveillance video of rival Jim Jones aggressively kicking down a door in a hallway. That is not a beef. That is surveillance. That is a man who will go to any length to embarrass his opponent. And when you combine that energy with the ability to produce documentaries, you understand why people are nervous. And then came the AI video. 50 Cent hit Jim Jones, Mayo, Fabulous, and Dave East in a new AI video that divided fans. The fact that 50 Cent is now using artificial intelligence to create content targeting his enemies tells you where this is heading. He is not just using traditional media, he is using every tool available. Now, Mino, he's also been trading shots with Mayo since he and the rest of the Let's Rap About It podcast crew criticized his Netflix docuseries, Sean Combs' The Reckoning. After trading several shots online, Mino targeted 50 on his Bleed Like Us diss track. Mino made the mistake of criticizing 50 Cent's documentary, and 50 Cent came for him. This is the pattern. You say something about 50 Cent, Wargy, and he responds with a level of aggression that makes you regret ever opening your mouth. Now, let's talk about Dame Dash. 50 Cent's and Dame Dash's beef stems from competitive tensions and opposing players in New York rap of the 2000s. Many years ago, Dame had criticized and downplayed the 50's Interscope deal, and the seeds for discord grew quickly. Amid 50 Cent mocking Dash's financial woes, he clapped back and compared their business achievements. This flared up in 2024. The paid-in-full situation made things worse. Their feud was reignited when Fifth announced plans to create a premium TV show based on the 2002 film Paid in Full with the help of Cam. In response, Dash accused 50 Cent of lying about owning the rights to the film. He later had a change of heart, proposing a truce with both artists that was quickly and brutally rejected. 50 Cent's response was classic. I agree with Dame 100%. It's better to work together. 50 Cent wrote at the time, we should sit down and figure out how to move forward. I believe we can create a path to more success. Oh, wait. Cam just said Dame in his fake ChatGPT lawsuit. So it's, for you, Dame, that is 50 Cent pretending to be reasonable and then pulling the rug out from under Dame Dash in the same sentence. It is comedy to him. It is entertainment. And it is all public. And now Cameron, who was once 50 Cent's enemy, has become his ally against Dame Dash and Jim Jones. Recently, 50 Cent and Cameron solidified their alliance while reigniting long-standing disputes with Dame Dash and Jim Jones, demonstrating how old tensions continue to reverberate through the culture. Last weekend, Miami's LIV nightclub hosted a high-energy showcase as 50 Cent joined Cameron on stage. Fans captured the electric atmosphere as the two rappers traded verses, blending nostalgia with current relevance. Against the backdrop of simmering conflicts with former collaborators Dash and Jones, the performance carried a charged subtext. Cameron even addressed the Jim Jones situation on his podcast, The Reunions and Arguments. It's been 15 years. He said, our time together as a group lasted only 7 years, yet the disputes have extended far beyond that. So now you have 50C and Cameron on one side, and Jim Jones and Dame Dash on the other. That is a realignment of New York hip-hop alliances that nobody predicted, and 50 Cent is the one orchestrating it. Now let's get to Young Buck. This one goes deep. Ye, the Nashville rapper, has accused his former boss and friend of trying to sabotage his career. Buck was forced to sell his music catalogue in January 2024 due to bankruptcy. He has long accused 50 of being the reason behind his financial woes. Young Buck was a member of Gunit. He was 50 Cent's teammate. They made music together. They toured together. And then 50 Cent cut him off. And according to Young Buck, actively worked to destroy his career and his finances. That is the most personal kind of beef. It is not competition. It is not a diss track exchange. It is a man who says his former friend ruined his life. And in March 2026, the beef is still alive. 50 Cent has been beefing with Young Buck, T, Mino, and several more celebrities on social media in recent weeks. 50 Cent and Young Buck's long-standing feud reignited on social media. The tension began when 50 Cent created a promotional image for the 1979 television show The Dukes of Hazzard, but swapped in himself and young Buck. He also used Glorilla's sister Barilla as Daisy Duke and T as Sheriff Roscoe PR. That is 50 Cent mocking multiple people in a single meme. He put young Buck, Ty, and Gorilla's sister in one image. That is the efficiency of a man who has spent 25 years beefing with people. He can target 3 enemies in one post. Young Buck is far from the only artist 50 Cent is feuding with on social media. But what makes his situation unique is the personal betrayal element. This was a man in 50 Cent's inner circle, and 50 Cent turned on him completely. Now imagine what a documentary about that situation could look like. 50 Cent has the footage, he has the stories, he was there. And then there's the Floyd Mayweather situation. People may not know this, but 50 Cent was once a boxing promoter who helped form the money team TMT with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Due to their personal problems, the two eventually separated as business partners, costing the Queens rapper $2 million. 50 Cent has since made it his mission to troll Mayweather whenever he gets the chance. He once infamously challenged the boxer to read a page of a Harry Potter book. In 2026, that beef is still going. The long-running feud between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather Jr. resurfaced after the boxing legend signaled another return to competition. 50 Cent shared, then quickly deleted a pointed message reading, "Broke got a box till you drop champ. Ain't nobody going to watch that, so LOL." Since their falling out, 50 Cent has consistently mocked the boxing champion's finances and literacy. In interviews and online posts, Mayweather rarely responds directly, instead keeping his focus on business ventures and ring appearances. So even outside of hip-hop, 50 Cent is maintaining active beefs. Floyd Mayweather, Oprah. These are not small-time targets. These are global names, and 50 Cent goes at all of them with the same level of intensity. The Fat Joe situation is worth mentioning too. Fat Joe and 50's beef began after 50 was upset that Joe and J. Rule collabed on the song New York in 2004. 50 fired back at Joe in the song Piggy Bank, which dropped the following year. However, they decided to squash their beef in 2012, when their hip-hop manager and Violator co-founder, Chris Lighty, died. Or they performed at the BET Awards that year in honor of their well-respected manager and friend. So some beefs do get resolved, but only under the most extreme circumstances. It took the death of a mutual friend for 50 Cent and Fat Joe to stop fighting. That should tell you about the likelihood of 50 Cent squashing his current beefs voluntarily. And let's not forget, The Game. 50 Cent's feud with The Game began in 2004 when Game was introduced to Gunit ahead of his debut album. Their issues escalated when 50 felt that Game's album was being prioritized over his own. The situation boiled over in 2005 when Game publicly refused to take sides in 50's beefs, leading 50 to kick him out of Gunit live on air. The tension led to a shooting outside the radio station. Though they've teased a reconciliation, the two rappers continue to clash, and especially on social media. That beef involved an actual shooting, not a diss track, not a social media post, a shooting. And it stemmed from a radio interview where The Game said he did not want to take sides. 50 Cent's response to neutrality was, "You are out. That is the standard. You are either with 50 Cent or you are against him. There is no middle ground." And the Cameron situation, while now resolved, showed the same dynamic. 50 Cent's beef with Cameron kicked off in 2007 during a heated argument on air at a radio station. The tension was sparked by 50's comments about co-records, which Cameron represented. Though their feud seemed to cool off over the years, the two rappers reconciled in 2016 when they shared a laugh together on Instagram. Now they are performing together and targeting Jim Jones. The alliances shift. The enemies change, but 50 Cent stays at the center of every conflict in hip-hop. That is not an accident. That is a strategy. So now we arrive at the central question of this video. Why are rappers so concerned about 50 Cent's documentaries? Why does the announcement of a new documentary episode send shockwaves through the industry? And why do people act like they need to leave the country when 50 Cent posts about a new project? The answer is simple. Because 50 Cent has proven he will follow through. The Netflix documentary was not a bluff. It was not a joke. It was a 4-part series that was viewed by tens of millions of people within a week. It had real interviews. It had real footage. It had real consequences. And the people who are beefing with 50 Cent right now, Ty, Jim Jones, Young Buck, Mayo, Dame Dash, and others have to sit with the knowledge that this same man could turn his camera on them next. According to numerous sources such as Star 94.5, they report that industry insiders are hearing rumblings about the Goonit mogul dropping another documentary similar to Sean Combs' The Reckoning. That is the fear. Not a diss track, not a meme. A documentary. A professionally produced, network-backed multi-EP episode examination of your life, your mistakes, your secrets, and your allegations. That is a different kind of exposure. With the success of the rapper's previous Netflix documentary, it wouldn't be out of character for 50 to turn to a documentary to expose the couple. And here is the thing about 50 Cent's documentary approach. He does not just target people randomly. He targets people he has personal history with. And he targets people he has been watching for years. He targets people whose stories he knows intimately because he was in the same rooms, the same studios, the same circles. When 50 Cent produced the Netflix documentary, he had access because he was part of that world. He knew the people, he knew the stories. He had been talking about the subject for over a decade before the cameras ever started rolling. Look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't. He told People magazine, "It's really me just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. 10 years. That is how long 50 Cent was talking before he made the documentary. That means everything he is saying now about Ty, about Jim Jones, about anyone else could be 10 years of material waiting to be compiled into a series. And the Gang Wars series adds another layer. Deadline describes the series as an unfiltered look into America's most infamous gang rivalries with unprecedented access and never-before-heard accounts. That is a show about gang culture, about gang rivalries, about the underside of the music industry and the streets that feed into it. There are a lot of rappers who have gang affiliations, gang connections, or gang histories. And a show like Gang Wars could touch on any of those stories. 50 Cent is not just making one documentary, he is building a documentary empire. He has Goonit Film and Television. He has relationships with Netflix, A and E stars, and Fox Nation. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson visits Fox and Friends to discuss his new Fox Nation show, 50 Ways to Catch a Killer. He has multiple platforms, multiple networks, and multiple formats to tell whatever story he wants to tell. And the way he uses social media to tease these projects is part of the strategy. He posts something, people react. He deletes it, the story has already spread, the damage is already done, the seed is already planted. With the T.I. documentary, he did exactly that. He posted the surviving T.I. and tiny headline. He tagged it with a warning. He let it sit long enough for every blog, every podcast, every YouTube channel to screenshot it and run with it. And then he deleted it. If you've been keeping up with this reignited beef between T.I. and 50 Cent, then you know 50 Cent keeps posting things on social media, aimed at his rival but then later deletes the post. That is calculated. That is not impulsive. That is a man who understands the news cycle, understands virality, and understands how to maximize impact with minimum effort. And every person who has beef with 50 Cent right now has to deal with that reality. Ja Rule has to deal with it. Rick Ross has to deal with it. Jim Jones has to deal with it. Young Buck has to deal with it. They all have to wake up every morning and check 50 Cent's Instagram to see if they are the next target. Let me put this into perspective. Let me list every person 50 Cent has had a notable beef with. Jaw rule the game. Rick Ross, TJZ, Cameron now resolved. Jim Jones, Dame Dash, Young Buck, Floyd Mayweather, Fat Joe now resolved. Nas now resolved. Lil Wayne, cool down. Kanye West, competition, not hatred. French Montana, Ghostface Killer, resolved. Stevie J. Mayo, fabulous. Dave East, Oprah, Meek Mill, Tia Kemp, Rick Ross's baby mother. Irv Gotti, deceased. Lil Kim, Jadakus, Styles P, the entire DB Block crew. The entire Murder Inc.'s crew, Bill O'Reilly, and now King Harris, Damani Harris, and the entire Harris family through the T.I. beef. That is more than 30 names, and 50 Cent has had specific documented public conflicts with every single one of them. Some of those conflicts span years, some span decades, and now 50 Cent has the power to turn any of those conflicts into a documentary. That is why the title of this video resonates. That is why people are talking about rappers fleeing. Because in the old days, if you had beef with 50 Cent, the worst that could happen was a diss track or a meme. Now, the worst that can happen is a multi-part documentary on a major streaming platform that gets viewed by 21 million people in a week. And 50 Cent is not showing any signs of slowing down. He is 50 years old. He has made his money. He has built his empire. He has nothing to prove musically. Even as he enters middle age, he just turned 50. That combative spirit is still alive. And that combative spirit now has Netflix money behind it, A&E money behind it, Stars money behind it, Gunnet Film and television resources behind it. That is a very different thing from a rapper who is just talking trash on the radio. The landscape has fundamentally changed. In 2003, 50 Cent's weapon was in Do Club and Many Men. In 2026, 50 Cent's weapon is a camera crew and a production budget. And the second weapon is far more dangerous than the first. Because a diss track fades, a meme gets deleted, but a documentary lives on a streaming platform forever. It is searchable, it is shareable, it is rewatchable, it becomes part of someone's permanent public record. And 50 Cent knows that. Our 50 Cent understands that in the modern era of instant viral media, the sheer threat of an exposing documentary often hits significantly harder than the actual project itself. And that understanding is what makes him the most feared figure in hip-hop right now. Not because he can rap better than anyone, not because he can fight better than anyone, but because he can produce content about you that will be watched by millions and will never go away. T can drop 5 diss tracks. King Harris can print 100 t-shirts. Jim Jones can call the documentary a mockumentary. Mino can release disc songs. Dame Dash can file lawsuits. Ja Rule can accept his fate. But none of that changes the fundamental reality. 50 Cent has the platform, the resources, and the willingness to tell your story to the world. And the world is watching. The world watched the last documentary. The world will watch the next one. And everybody who has ever crossed 50 Cent knows that the next documentary could be about them. That is the state of hip-hop in March 2026. One man, Curtis Jackson, has converted 25 years of beefs into a documentary production company, and the entire industry is holding its breath, waiting to see who is next. Let's look at where each of these situations stands as of right now. The T.I. situation's still active. Both sides are releasing music. 50 Cent has threatened a documentary. T.I. has dismissed the threat, but continues to respond. As of March 2nd, 2026, the beef shows no signs of dying down. In a surprising move, 50 Cent deleted all the negative posts he had directed at T.I. and his family, but the Harris camp was not impressed. The Jim Jones situation's still active. 50C ended the year with no shortage of beef to carry over into 2026. And the same could be said about Jim Jones. 50C continues to post surveillance footage and mocking content aimed at Jones. Jones continues to dismiss it on his podcast. The Young Buck situation's still active. 50 Cent has been beefing with Young Buck, T. Mayo, and several more celebrities on social media in recent weeks. Young Buck has publicly expressed frustration at 50 Cent's trolling. The Dame Dash situation still active. Amid 50 Cent mocking Dash's financial woes, he clapped back and compared their business achievements. This flared up in 2024. Since then, it's been one troll and shady online comment after another. The Mino situation's still active. Or he's been trading shots with Mino since he and the rest of the Let's Rap About It podcast crew criticised his Netflix docu-series. After trading several shots online, Mino targeted 50 on his Bleed Like Us diss track, the Jay-Z situation. Ongoing tension. No direct public confrontation in recent months, but the undercurrent is there. Pav has been ridiculed by Jackson on his social media platforms. The Super Bowl accusation has never been addressed by Jay-Z publicly. The Ja Rule situation. Permanent Cold War. Sometimes in life, people have enemies, and that's okay. Ja Rule has accepted this will never end. The Rick Ross situation. Dormant, but not dead. The history is too deep and too personal for it to ever truly be over. The Floyd Mayweather situation. Ongoing trolling. Since their falling out, 50 Cent has consistently mocked the boxing champion's finances and literacy in interviews and online posts. And through all of it, 50 Cent is producing content. He is producing documentaries. He is producing TV shows. He is producing music. He is producing memes. He is producing AI-generated videos. He is producing controversy. And he is doing it all simultaneously on multiple fronts against multiple opponents. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has had one of his busiest news weeks of early 2026, landing a major Netflix film role, trolling Jim Jones out of a studio, reigniting beef with Floyd Mayweather, and keeping his decades-long general rule, rivalry simmering. That was 1 week. 1 week. In 1 week, 50 Cent managed to advance multiple beefs, secure a film role, and continue his trolling campaigns against at least 3 different targets. That is the pace he operates at. That is the energy level. And that is why people are concerned. Because if 50 Cent can do all of that in a single week, imagine what he can do when he dedicates months to a documentary project. Imagine the access he has. Imagine the stories he knows. Imagine the footage he has collected over 25 years in the industry. Imagine the people who would be willing to talk on camera about their experiences with the people 50 Cent has problems with. The Netflix documentary showed that people will come forward. The Netflix documentary showed that cameras can capture things that disc tracks cannot. The Netflix documentary showed that a well-produced series can do more damage than 100 songs. And 50 Cent is the man holding that power. He is the man who gets to decide who the next subject is. He is the man who gets to decide when the next trailer drops. He is the man who gets to decide when the next Instagram teaser goes up. And every rapper who has ever looked at 50 Cent sideways, every rapper who has ever dismissed him, disrespected him, challenged him, or crossed him has to live with the possibility that they are next. That is not a diss track. That is not a meme. That is power. And Curtis Jackson, the kid from Queens who got shot 9 times and was left for dead, now wields more of it than almost anyone in the entertainment industry. Not through music, not through guns, through cameras, through production companies, through streaming deals, through the simple devastating act of saying, I am going to tell your story. And millions of people are going to watch. That is the new era. That is the documentary era. And 50 Cent is running it. The question is not whether 50 Cent will make another documentary. He will. The question is not whether people will watch it. They will. The question is, who is next? And if you have beef with Curtis Jackson, past, present, or future, you should probably be asking yourself that question right now. Because 50 Cent is not done. He is just getting started. He has the platform. He has the money. He has the contacts. He has the grudges. And he has 25 years of receipts. And in the documentary era, receipts are everything. That's the story. That's the situation. That's why the internet is buzzing about 30 rappers fleeing after 50 Cent announced his new documentary episode. Whether they are literally fleeing or figuratively holding their breath, the effect is the same. And Curtis Jackson has the entire hip-hop industry on notice, and knowing 50 Cent, that is exactly where he wants them. If you made it this far, drop a comment and let us know. Who do you think 50 Cent should make a documentary about next? And hit subscribe so you don't miss the update when that documentary inevitably gets announced, because it will. That's not speculation. That's just how 50 Cent operates.